Hiya. Hi, I'm Kerry from Mobilates, and I'm here for 30 minutes of really gentle movement just to get everything sort of going, oiled, moving. We can do it standing, we can do it sitting, and we're going to do a lying down section as well. And this is all about making yourself really comfortable whilst you're moving so that you enjoy the movement and you're not sort of fearful and dreading bits that come up. So, if you want to sit down today or if you have to sit down today, it's all good. And take your time with any changes of position. So, if you go from maybe sitting to on the edge of a bed and lying down, or even down to the floor, always take your time. There's never, ever a hurry. I hope you're keeping well. Feels like there's a little bit more light today. It's not so cloudy here in my part of Devon. We've got here today. Hi, Jackie. So it feels lighter. It's not quite as cold, although our hands always feel cold. So let's get moving. Take your legs a little wider, whether you are sitting on a chair, sitting on the edge of your bed, or standing. You can see my legs probably bit wider than my shoulders. It's just for you so you feel quite stable. And if you know you're a bit wobbly, you can always be right next to something to support you. I'll have a little shift from side to side. And then we're going to take our hands up. It's like we're just draping our fingers and then turning the other way and coming down with this part of our palm, the sort of bottom of the heel of the palm. So it's a nice soft movement. That's it. And now as we're doing this, we're going to breathe in as we sort of show our fingers and out as we show our palms. This is very soft, the stroking sort of movement. And as you breathe in, send that air down so it feels like it's going to your belly and your belly just swells a little. It's just your diaphragm creating a bit more space for your lungs. And as you breathe out, you feel a little pull back here as the space changes. If you're feeling okay, you can either make your vision a little bit more blurry, so I'm just narrowing my eyes slightly. I've even gone so far as to close my eyes really lightly, but only if you feel comfortable with that. And then it's just like making your face melt a little, just taking any frowns, any expressions just away from your face, so your face feels calm, relaxed, quite blank. Sometimes it's hard not to show a lot of expression in your face. And we'll do a couple more. And on that last one, just let your arms swing slightly, start to open your eyes, have a little blink, and just seeing if anybody else is there. Oh, who's here today? Give me a hello. I've got my eyes just on the little changes there. I can't read from this distance, not entirely, but I can see stuff's happening. And I tend to lean in and have a little look. So do say hello if you just joined me. Right, we're going from this position into, let's have a little side to side tilt from the head. Ear towards shoulder, ear towards other shoulder. And if you feel that this is happening with your head, you can always put little prayer hands underneath. Oh, I can see someone creeping in there. Oh, hi, Millie. Yeah, I haven't seen your name before. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know at the end what you think. I always come after the class, I stick around and just, write into the comments, say hello to some people who come pretty much each week or check in with people. We're going to change, so come up to the center. Now, tip of your nose, up and down. This can be a super small movement. Imagine that you're drawing little lines. It might be drawing like a sort of matchstick length line, or it might be longer. But as you do this, feel like you're growing taller. That stops the back of your neck getting really squished, which never feels particularly nice. You want a bit more space. And then come back to the center. We'll give our shoulders a roll. So I've got both mine rolling, but if you've got different things going on, one shoulder to another, I do recommend one side and then the other, and you probably find your waist is just going to twist the bonus there, because then you can really tune in to what's happening on one side, and it might be that side you're going to give a bit of extra movement to, or a bit less, or make the movement bigger or smaller. It just gives you that chance to be more responsive to your body, and that's what this session is really all about. So let's breathe in now as they come forwards and up, or as one comes forwards and up, and out as you go around the back and down. Just slowing down a little. And last one. Hand on your belly, hand on your back, or just as close as you can get. I'm bringing my feet in slightly, so now when I look down, I've got the room between my feet to put a paperback book. That's a good sort of way of visually checking. And then if I show you from the side, I'm going to take a breath in. And as I breathe out and feel my belly start to tense, that's when I lengthen down the bottom of my back here. And then as I breathe in, my belly comes forwards a little bit of a sticky out bottom. So you're just going a little rock between the two. And if you look at the hem of my top here, you can see the movement. And you can make this super small and really take your time, or you might make them slightly faster. Last one coming up. And then we're just going to go side to side. So let your knees be soft if you're standing. If you're sitting, you'll feel your knees go up and down. You might want to lift your feet slightly or your heels. It feels like one hip's coming up towards here and the other hip's coming up, and you're just doing a little side to side. And then we're going to grow tall, really tall. So you're sitting or standing tall. If you're sitting, place your hands on your chest. If you're standing, arms outwards, just to help with a bit of balance. And we're going to rock in this rather straight line forwards and backwards. So if you're sitting, looks like this. So it's slightly sinister, I know. Go with it. And it might be you want to come further forwards, or it might be that you're making it smaller. If you're standing, if you feel your feet need to be a bit wider, by all means make them a bit wider, respond to what you need. And you'll feel the changes, particularly in your feet if you're standing. There's suddenly a moment when your toes feel like they're holding on, and it's trying to calm that down and letting your toes just spread out, less claw-like, more just on the ground, resting, holding you up without going, hoo. And then we're going to take this side to side, trying to keep your legs straightish. And it feels like you're almost going to lift your foot. Oh, not quite. And if you're doing this on the chair, you'll feel that one side of your buttock comes up and then the other side comes up. It's just a little less pressure. That's it. And then we're going to go in circles. Oh, you might want your arms out a little bit more. If you're sitting, your hands are going to be here. And then take it the other way. Perfect. And then let's bring it back to the center and give everything a little wriggle, like everything's soft, silky ribbons. That's it. Right, now I'm going to go into side bends, so we'll grow tall again, sliding your hands down your sides, might be the sides of your chair, and up. We're not going very far. And as you're doing this, I want you to keep the weight on your bum or your feet, depending whether you're standing or sitting, the same. So I don't want you to feel like you're leaning from side to side. Both feet pressed down, equal sorts of pressure. Both bum cheeks down, equal sort of pressure. And you can stay with this. And if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, I think I would probably stay with my arms down by my sides. If you haven't, we can cradle our head, make this a little bigger. But I'm trying to resist this sort of collapse. We're trying to stay really tall as we do this. And the bit that's changing really is this bit here is getting bigger. rather than crunching down the side. And again, keeping the feet or the bottom equally balanced. And then really soft and flowy, swishing your arms around, letting your feet come off the floor, letting your legs grow a little bit wider. You can make the movement bigger, or you can keep it really, really super small. Absolutely fine to do this from a chair, Millie. I'll show you what this looks like from a chair. So the first half of this class is always sitting or standing, and it can be sitting on your bed. And you can mix it up. You can stand for some and sit for some if that's available to you. And the second half is lying down. But you can always watch the second half and see what it's like. And the lying down can be on the floor, or it can also be on a bed. Just throw the duvet back. It'll give you a firmer surface. If you're standing, you might let your arms fall onto your body. Hard to do in the chair because the chair gets in the way. If you really fling your arms, you don't want to fling your arms into the back of the chair. And then come back to the centre, and we're coming into a little balance. It's going to look slightly different sitting and standing. So I'll show you the standing first. You can have your balance support next to you. So this is my supporting leg next to my support, and I'm going to bend this leg slightly. So if I turn to the side, just going to lift it off the floor. And I'm going to keep the shape of this the same. I'm going to have to look forwards, otherwise I'll fall over. And then I'm just letting my leg move. And the whole leg stays the same shape. I'm just going to put my foot down to stop any wobbles. So it's not like I'm kicking a football and that bit moves. It moves from this part of my hip. Flamingo. Think flamingo. So you've got this little bent leg. So if you keep going with that on one side, if you're sitting, I want you to go between putting a leg almost like it's going underneath the chair and then ahead. Now it might be that you touch down on the floor very lightly, or it might be you keep it up in the air and you're floating through the air. You need to sit as tall as you can just to give yourself a bit of space. And on the edge of your chair seat is better, and then have a rest and let your legs flop. If you're standing, get a little wiggle. You might want a bit of a walk around after that. You've had all the weight going through one side. And then we're going to go for the other side. So you might want to change your chair around, get your support leg ready, just hovering off the floor. You can see I put my top there. I'm trying to keep this even rather than this sort of thing or leaning over. Just nice and even and steady. A little backwards and forwards. And you can see my foot, I'm not moving the bottom of my leg, I'm just letting it come from here. And if you're sitting, oh, hi Irene, nice to have you here. We're just moving backwards and forwards and wiggling just a little front of your chair. And if you can't go very far, just keep it really small. It might be you're just going to take it forwards and then tap it down. Take it forwards and tap it down. Just challenging your balance a little bit. And you can always hold on, or if you want to work a bit harder, put your hands up here or even here. Last one coming up. Oh, I can feel that little build up in the thigh there. So letting your legs have a little flop outwards if you're sitting, or a little walk around, and a bit of a wiggle if you're standing. And then we're going to take the legs wider. I'll show you what the standing version looks like. So from this position, one leg goes wider and back, wider and back. If you're sitting, very similar. Start with both legs a bit wider, and then take one leg out and back. Out. You can see my weight's just shifting over this way as well. That's it. But I'm staying central on my chair, otherwise it just gets a bit unstable. So you've got that movement. And if you're standing, you might bend a little. If you start bending more, you can start sticking your bum out a little bit at the back. And if you're sitting, you can start coming forward slightly over that leg. And the next bit is taking an arm on the same side. We're going to hold the position. And it's like you're sweeping everything off a table or cleaning everything if you prefer to clean. And if you're standing, looks like this. And then push up. Give everything a wiggle. And we're going to go for the other side. So if you're standing, you might want to move across your mat. And we just start that little lunge first, getting the leg action. So you might want to stay here because that's what your knees are happy with. This leg is bending, this leg is straight. You might go lower and stick your bum out and you feel your back starts to go sort of towards on position, horizontal to the ceiling or parallel to the floor-ish. No, we're not going to come around and measure. Then we're going to bring this arm and start clearing the table. So that's standing position. And if I'm sitting, oh, seems like there's a bit of a problem with the signal. I don't know what's happening there. Everybody went away then. Hello, hello. You will come back. If you're sitting, you'll be clearing in this position, sitting forwards. And then we're going to push ourselves up. Take both legs wide. So if you're sitting, take them as wide as you can. We're closer to the edge of the seat. We're going to lean forward and push your shoulder towards your knee. And it's just in the general direction that I don't want them to touch. And if you are up on your feet, stick your bum back and taking your shoulder across to your knee. So I don't know if you just lost me just then, but we're all back again from what I can see. Some gremlins in the mist today. Last one each side. And then push yourself up to standing. Bring your feet in or up to sitting. We're going to go into a roll down and I'm going to give you different options. So if you've got low back issues today or if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, we're going to the hinged version. Standing sitting, so the bottom comes back. And you can see my back here is straight, so I'm not really making an arch. I'm not curving like this, just going for a straight position. My hands are resting on my thighs, and the action starts here. So I start to make this bit longer and tuck under, and you can see that starts to spread up my back. My legs start to straighten, and then I push myself up. So if we go for another one. All comes from that low back and you push yourself up. Much less load going through the spine. So if you've got stuff going on, that can be more comfortable. And I'll show you in the chair as well. So coming forwards. And then just starting that tilt. And you can feel yourself starting to lean back and push up. Now, if you're feeling stronger in your spine and you like more movement than that and you're happy to do that, you can go for a more classic roll down. So take your arms out to the sides, bring your hands into a prayer position, and then take them out to the side, palms forward, really open out your chest. And then we're just rolling our head down the body. Feels like it's going to roll, roll, roll. And you're just going to a point that feels nice, could be about here. Can have a little dangle. Very nice for the shoulders, that one. Head can have a nod. You might go further, you might not. It's not necessarily about just touching your toes. It's more about getting movement through your spine. Your knees can bend, so it's softer on your legs. And when you're ready to come up, take a breath in and breathe out. And start to push upwards, unrolling. Perfect. One more of whichever you want to do. Oh, who's that? Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Amber. Oh, I love how you're all helping each other out. That's so nice. Right, one more of whichever you're going to do, and then we're going to make our way down to the floor, down to your bed. I don't usually say sofa, just because sofas just aren't big enough, and they tend to be quite squidgy. So taking yourself down to a lying surface, or you could just watch this bit and see how it goes, and then you know what you're getting into if you join again next week. So I'm keeping my chair here today because I'm going to give you some options. It is a regular weekly session. Every Wednesday at this time, 4:30, I'm here. And there's lots of other sessions with other people at Virtual Village Hall, other times of the day. There's certainly lots of other gentle movement sessions. Right, I'm coming down, moving everything with me. And we often start lying down on our backs with, I can see Millie's taking it all in. I'm glad you're getting all the information. It's good to ask the questions though, because you want to know these things. Now we're lying on our backs. You can see I'm just reaching for a bit of comfort. Oh, that's nice, something under the head. And I'll always guide you to anything that you need. So normally when you're lying on your back here, you want your gaze to be at the ceiling. So you want to be looking up there. I know you're going to look to the screen from time to time just to see what's going on. But if you are lying back, that's where your eye line is. If it feels like your eye line is behind you, you definitely need something under your head. You can see I've got a very thin cushion and it's quite small. It's not a full size cushion. I don't like a lot behind my head. And I don't need it, it's just more comfortable. But sometimes I see people and they're looking back towards the wall. That generally tells me that you need something to help support your head. Sometimes I see people and their heads are tilted this way. And that might mean you're looking down between your legs. You've already got something under your head and it's just too big. You need something a bit less, like a towel, something you can make smaller. And once we're in this position, it's nice to let things just sway a little, just to get your back used to this position. And then bring your arms to the center, somewhere by your sides, palms down, palms up. I like palms down for this. And we'll take our legs and knees and bring them together. Then take your heels out and your toes forwards, and you've got a little gap between your legs. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, feel some tension in your belly. And we're going to float one leg up to this L-shaped tabletop, so what we call it in Pilates. And as you do that, you can feel a bit of effort to hold it still. And then let's take that leg down. Breathing in. Breathing out. Take the other leg up. Breathe in, take it down. And we're just doing this very slow, it's like a march. Keeping our legs in the same sort of shape. And don't worry if the breathing is getting confusing. Just concentrate on this steady movement, feeling really controlled. So the only bit that's moving is here where your leg comes up. And you can feel there's tension going on here as everything's staying in place and your back stays in place against whichever surface you're lying on. One more each side. Next one's different. We're going to take it up and then stretch that leg away like someone's pulling it, and your thighs are roughly in line. So you've got this sort of diagonal on your leg. Bend it back, place it down, going up. Let's stretch it super long. I always feel like my toes are reaching for a buzzer. It just helps me think about the length. And we'll go one more each side. And then we're going to bring our arms in as well. My hands are getting cold, they need some activity. So now let's take arms up as that leg comes up. And as that leg stretches out diagonally, you can now go a little bit lower. And the arms are going behind you, so they might be here, they might reach down to the ground. Oh, mine don't quite want to do that, so I'm going to keep them floating. And then we bring them back and take it down. So arms up, leg up, stretch long, reaching back to where we were in that tabletop with the arms up, and take it down. And let's go for one more each side. I could go a bit lower. So you can decide where is the best place for you. You might find that you're better keeping it in line with your thigh. You might find it can go lower. I don't want it completely on the floor because it just rests down there. So we're working it somewhere, holding it up. So you've got to think, where is your easiest place and where's a bit of challenge, but nothing too much. And then let the legs sway from side to side. And then we're going to slide whatever is underneath our head out this time, because we don't want anything underneath for the next move. Arms down by your sides, and you probably want your palms downwards. And you see I'm bringing my arms quite close and having a little wriggle on my shoulders, almost like I'm sort of tucking them in, like the corners when you're doing a bed sheet and you're just tucking the corners under. And I'm bringing my legs a bit closer. We're going to do the pelvic tilt that we did right at the beginning, but we're doing it lying down. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, using your belly muscles, just pulling back a little, and it feels like your top has got closer to the floor. It might be pressing into the floor, and your bottom is just coming up a little bit. And then you rock forwards. Rocking back with a breath out. And then rocking forwards. If I take my arm away, you can see the changes here. Sort of rounding. And now we're going to go a bit higher. So press to your feet and just lift your bottom off the floor. And then rolling it back down. You can think of like a celebrity red carpet rolling up and rolling down. And it might be that you're just hovering off the floor. You just get to this point where you could just about fit a hand underneath. Or it might be you're coming higher and you're pushing up a bit higher and you're getting a straight line. It depends how long you've done this and sort of how familiar you are with the moves and how different parts of your body are responding to it today. If you've got a really sore back, it might not want very much. Just wants a little bit of movement so you don't get too stiff. And this next one, we're going to hold it either here, wherever your position is, and then bring those arms up towards the ceiling and take them out. It's like we're giving a massive round of applause, but with really long arms. It's quite quiet when I'm just doing to the fingers touch. And then take your arms back, reaching up, down by your sides, and roll down and bring your legs towards you. So you can grab the backs of your thighs, you can grab the tops of your knees or your shins, whatever feels nice. I'm going for the backs of the thighs today, and I'm going for quite wide legs as well. And I'm just having a little roll from side to side. I invite you to do the same. And you can really roll up quite a long way and see what that's like for you. You can change the arm position. And then the next position we're going to go into is an all fours position. Now, I know this is not everybody's favourite, so I have some tricks up my sleeve. And I'll show you some variations. So the starting point. That's the basic all fours position. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. You spread out your hands and you're pushing away from the floor and you're just looking slightly ahead so your head isn't dropped down. It's just like a line, head to bottom, and it's straightish. Again, I'm not going to come and check. So that's one position. I wouldn't hold that too much at the moment because you might be waiting a little while. The next position I could take you to, if your knees are okay, but your hands are thinking, oh, I don't like that going through there, take yourself to a chair or a sofa. So I'm showing you from my chair because you're getting a side view, but I could also go to my sofa and lean that way. If your knees are thinking, no, don't like that, what you can do instead is take yourself to something that's fixed against a wall. So I've got my chest of drawers here. And this is my all fours position now. You can see it's a similar shape. I've got a straight back, I've got straight arms, but the pressure is less because there's not so much of an angle on my wrists. And I can do exactly what we're going to do in that position down there. So think what's working best for you. And then in this position, we're going to stretch out a leg. So stretch it back and keep it in contact with the floor. And then slide it back. And as we're doing this, we're keeping the foot in contact with the floor. We're not trying to lift the leg, but we're also not trying to wobble from side to side. That's the challenge. We're just pushing away and keeping everything as still as we can. So I'm showing you this in the classical fours. We're coming up to the last one. And then you might want to push back and just take some weight off your hands. Then we're going to go for the other side. I'll show you that in this position. So you can see now, this is why I wanted to do something against a wall, because you need to push against it. You don't want anything that's going to move. And now I'm just going to take that leg straight back. Oh, it's just very close to the chair, so I'll move across a little. And this time, it does go up a little, because if I go back, there isn't as far to go as there is when I'm on the floor. But I'm not trying to lift it. I'm not asking you to do that. I don't want that. So it's going sort of straight back, straight leg. And I'm trying not to move anything across here. And push away from your chest of drawers, or it might be a worktop or a table. And I'm hoping you're feeling this probably around here. And I think we're coming up towards the last one. And then you can walk towards your chest of drawers and bring yourself to sitting in a chair or sitting down on the floor. Or you can sit yourself down on the floor. I'm glad that suggestion works for you, Millie. I will say in Mobilates, we do a lot of this adaptation so that there's often a different way of doing things so you can reach the same or very similar muscles. And, we try and do things so as many different people with as many different needs can reach all these positions. So important. Right. To finish, sitting however is comfortable for you. So edge of your bed, chair. I'm doing it sitting on the floor so you get a good view. And then we're just going to do a hug, like we're hugging around a tree. Pull your belly back a little and you see the head just nods over. So it's like a gentle sort of shallow curve on your back. And then you can open out or take the hands behind you and push away from the floor. So you could have your arms open like that or like that. Or round again. And then push back. And one more. Rounding. And push back. And then the time has flown like it does every week. So we'll take our arms out to the sides, palms outwards, scoop up the air and breathe in. Take your hands as high as you can until they touch and have a little look at them. Get a stretch on your back, a little bit of back extension. Bring your hands into your chest. Give yourselves a clap, especially if it's your first time, but especially if you join me every week. It's all good, isn't it? I'm going to have a little look through. Yes, there's definitely a replay coming up, Amber. I'm sure Virtual Village Hall will tell you. Yes, half an hour's time. I'm going to come and check in on your comments. Lovely to have so many. So nice to see you. I'll see you next week at 4:30. Bye-bye.